Hi everyone, today we're going to be exploring the sine rule and looking at which variation to use. Second part of the video, I'm also going to be showing you exactly how the first or the original sine rule can be manipulated to essentially flip it and how we get that variation. So first of all, what is our sine rule? The original or the standard kind of sine rule is A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. Okay, usually you're trying to work out a side length or an angle, so usually you'll only use two of these, and the standard kind of letters are to use A and B. So for most applications that we're doing in year 10, you would generally just write this first bit here, and that will get you through the majority of scenarios. Okay, we're using this first variation. Remember, if I'll just quickly draw a little triangle over here. And remember, if I've got a triangle with an angle A as a capital letter, that means that the side length opposite that is going to be lowercase a. If I've got an angle of capital B over here, that means the lowercase b is going to go opposite of that angle, so over there. And then if I've got a final angle of C, that would be a capital C, then the lowercase c is going to be over here. So when to use each variation. If you're trying to find a side length, that would be a lowercase letter. Then you're using the rule that I've already written up here. You would be using this rule with the numerator as the lowercase letters. And the reason that's important is because it makes your process a whole lot easier. If you use the wrong rule, you can still get to the correct answer, but it streamlines the whole process and it makes it nice and easy. If you were to be trying to find an angle, for example, this B that I've just drawn in, then you would use the flipped version of the sine rule. So the flipped version, which I'll show you in a moment how to get to that, but quickly just right now, the flipped version is sine A over A equals sine B over B equals sine C over C, which I won't write. This second rule here would be used if you're trying to figure out an angle. So, quick little recap. If you're trying to find a side length, you're using the formula with the side length as the numerator or the top of the fraction. If you're trying to find an angle, you're using the formula with the angle as the numerator of the fraction, or the uppercase letter. Okay? Now let's look at how this first equation actually turns into this second equation. So down here, I'm just going to write the original equation again. So A over sine A equals B over sine B, and let's just use that variation. Okay, if I was to multiply sine A up to both sides, on the left-hand side, we would just be left with A, and on the right-hand side, I would be left with sine A, because I've just multiplied that up, times B over sine B. Okay, now if I was to multiply up the sine B to both sides, I would be left with A times sine B equals B times sine A. Now let's go another step. On the left-hand side, let's divide that A across. So on the left-hand side, I'm left with sine of B equals, on the right-hand side, all of that's already there, divided by sine A. So B sine A divided by A. And now let's also divide that B across. So your final answer is going to be sine b over b equals sine a over a. That's how our original rule up here can be flipped into the secondary version down here. Okay, you don't necessarily need to write that out every single time. You could just skip straight to the simplified versions up the top here, but that's a little explanation as to why that works. And final thoughts, if you're finding a side length, the side length goes on top. If you're finding an angle, you use the variation with the angle on top as the numerator. Hope that's helpful.